Hello! I'm Jenny Fern and welcome to my library. I am a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who loves permaculture and I am here to talk about books, so let's talk about books. I thought it would be fun today to explore the topic of manga because this year, 2023, is the first year I have ever read manga, and some of my favorite books from this year were manga. So I think it would be great to explore this new world that I've stepped into. One of the very first books that I read this year was Hat Atelier, which is a very, very, very high quality manga. It has excellent artwork, really supreme illustrations, and really inventive panel work. So I really started with some of the best work there is. The reason I picked this book up was because I was watching an artist, Holly Brown, and they were talking about how wonderful the artwork is, and especially the panel layouts are in Hat Atelier. So I trust their judgment and decided to pick it up. It was also recommended in a cozy fantasy recommendation, and I thought that I would be interested in cozy fantasy. Turns out I'm more interested in manga than I am in cozy fantasy, which I wouldn't have expected. This is a fun fantasy series that follows a young girl who is learning how to be a witch, and she is training with 3 other young girls under a, I don't know, like 27-year-old man or something like that, who is their teacher. So I read, I think, up to the 10th volume of this series, and really enjoyed it. I think I only read up to what my library had. The next series I picked up was based on recommendations for if I liked this, what other series I might like, and one of the recommendations that really stuck with me after I did like a couple trial runs, and this was also available for my library, was The Girl from the Other Side. Really stunning artistically. It has excellent use of negative space. I just feel like it really utilizes the grayscale color scheme to its advantage. I will say that is one of the things that I really like about manga, is that it does not use color, unlike graphic novels. Like US graphic novels usually use color, and it can be really distracting for me for some reason when trying to absorb the story. Sometimes it can be very effective, but I've actually found that I enjoy the fact that manga is in black and white. Yeah, maybe this one, you can see that there's like, you know, it really plays with that black color to its advantage. And here as well with these shadows, you can see that. So this story follows a young girl and kind of a beastly man. They are trying to survive this sickness that has stricken their kind of like medieval-ish village. Yeah, it's basically about this man trying to protect this little girl. It gets very like mysterious. I really enjoyed this series. I did read and complete the whole series. My library did not have all of the volumes, but I did purchase the rest of them and finish it out. And so far I've only purchased these 2 to own and hold, but I would love to have all of them. It's just a bit expensive because it's like, you know, 10 books plus. I grated some ginger into my coffee. I grew my own ginger this year for the first time. So I harvested it before the frost and I've been using it slowly. It's really good. I did try to read a handful of other series, and I have a bit of a block with artwork. If I don't like it, it's hard for me to read the story. So again, as a recommendation from reading and loving these two, I looked up more that was similar to that, because I really have no grip on the different subgenres of manga and the intricacies of the different types of stories and such. So I'm really taking things that I know that I like, and it's funny to me that both of these have the element of like a young girl who is being taken care of by like a father figure. I evidently enjoy that theme. On the same theme, I started reading Somali and the Guardian of the Forest. This, I'm pretty sure, was available with Kindle Unlimited, and that was how I was reading it. So Somali and the Guardian of the Forest, I read volumes 1, 2, and 3, and I started volume 4. I had a bit of a problem with the series because for some reason I wasn't just like so excited about the story that I would kind of take a long time to read each one, and I read them before bed, so I would end up falling asleep and I would only read like one page, which is barely anything. So I decided to move on from this series. I think I might return to it because it is like a really beautifully wholesome vibe. It is about this young girl who's being taken care of by a guardian of the forest. So basically like this big robot guy who is really, really strong and kind of magical. I have something in the oven. I gotta check that and come back. So with Somali and the Guardian of the Forest, there were a few things that didn't super connect with me. I didn't 100% enjoy the artwork, especially of Somali. I don't know, there's something about her appearance that is a little weird. I don't know. The other element of this story that I wasn't fully prepared for was it doesn't tell a very continuous story. It has more like episodes. So seeing it as like exploring a new place and having like a new vibe for each volume could help me get over that. I just felt like it was a little bit disjointed, and I think most of that was because I wasn't really expecting there not to be like a continuous story being told, because the two that I'd read previously are less episodic, I suppose, and they are more of a continuous story. There are some settings that I really still think of from Somali and the Guardian of the Forest, and that's why I think I might actually pick the series back up now that I have a better understanding of what type of reading experience I'm gonna get. It almost reads more of like an exploration-y video game. Then we get into Children of the Whales. This has a much larger cast of characters that you kind of have to care about. And I feel like they're all introduced very fast. The initial concept of this story is that there is a boy who writes everything down, and that's kind of like his character trait. He is on a ship, like a live kind of ship on a sea of sand, and there are these other sand whales, I think is what they're called, that they pass, and there's never any people on them. And then they go on to one, and there is a person, and that kind of starts this mystery and opens up this world. But in my opinion, it got way too big, way too fast before I could really get a grip on what was going on. And it really morphed into a story that was a lot more grand in scale that I wasn't really expecting. I don't think I'm going to return to this one, but I will say that I did enjoy volume 1. And I also really enjoyed the artwork in this one. Then I started reading Flying Witch, which was a recommendation for if you enjoyed Witch Hat Atelier, maybe you would enjoy Flying Witch. And I gave it a shot earlier on in the year, and I didn't like the artwork, so I didn't continue on with it. And I agree with that initial assessment that I don't like the artwork. I still don't really like the artwork, but I actually really love how cozy and inviting and friendly this manga is. It's just feels very warm and safe. And so I have really enjoyed continuing on with this series, even though it's just like a warm place. There's not really anything going on, and the story is not very strong. The artwork isn't very strong in my opinion. Really surprised me in terms of how much I enjoyed Flying Witch. And then I started watching Spy Family, the anime, and I fell so hard for it that I needed more. So I decided to read it. I really, really, really love this series. The artwork is good, Anya is an angel, and the storyline is so strong. Probably the strongest of all of the ones that I've talked about. So Spy Family is about a spy who, for his mission, needs to build a family. So he adopts a little girl. She turns out to be a mind reader. So we have a spy and a little mind reader. And she's also the most precious being on this planet. He has to find a mother for her. So he finds this woman who he thinks is suitable. She agrees. Like they basically just have an arrangement where she wants to look more normal having a husband. So she decides to go through with this marriage. And she is an assassin. We have these three people who kind of have secrets or secret identities, and they form a genuinely loving family. And you think that it would be a lot more fraught with like, oh, well, he doesn't love his daughter because he's just doing it for the mission, but he really does care for her so much. And so you see these people kind of growing as a family, and then there's so much interesting plot line with the reason that there's like this spy network and assassin network and all of the greater implications of the world that they're living in. We also have this really fun aspect of the story where Anya is going to this really prestigious school. So she gets exposed to these students and these very interesting professor characters, which I love that element of the story as well. So those are the 6 manga that I have tested this year, my very first year ever exploring the medium of manga. What? Whoops. That is all I wanted to share with you today. I would love to bits if you have any recommendations for me for more manga to try out. I really think this is a wonderful medium to read. It has these really great storytelling abilities because of the combination of words and artwork. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and have a wonderful day!